You ever hear of a state that isn't really a state? What if I told you there's a place, hidden in plain sight right on the border of California and Oregon, where a rebellion has been simmering for more than 80 years? Well, this is the story of a phantom state, the state of Jefferson.
So, what's the deal with this state of Jefferson? It's not just some quirky local legend. It's a real secession movement, and it's born from this deep, gnawing feeling of being completely forgotten. And honestly, to get why they want to break away, you first have to understand the land itself, this isolated, rugged place that shaped them. Okay, before we dive deeper into this mystery, just a quick heads up. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, share, and like my videos. The information in this video is compiled from open sources around the world. Thank you. All right, let's get back to Jefferson.
To really get to the heart of Jefferson, you have to start with the geography. We're not just talking about lines on a map here. We're talking about how mountains and forests can literally create a whole different state of mind.
I mean, just look at this profile. We're talking about some seriously rugged country. The Klamath, the Siskiyou, the Cascade mountain ranges. These aren't just pretty backdrops, you know. They are formidable walls. The rivers aren't these big, calm highways for trade. They're wild and powerful. This is why the region has always felt like its own separate place. The very land that makes it so stunningly beautiful is also what makes it incredibly hard to connect with the outside world.
And this isolation, it's not just a feeling. It's a cold, hard historical fact. Check out this timeline. The first real trail shows up in 1846. It took another 12 years just to get a proper military road. And the real road? It didn't even get to Ashland until 1884, a full 40 years after settlers first tried to carve a path through. Connection didn't just arrive here, it crawled.
So this long, long history of being cut off, well, it was bound to lead to a breaking point. When you feel this disconnected for this long, it's really only a matter of time before you decide to just go your own way. And that brings us to the first real spark of rebellion.
Patriotic rebellion. That's the key phrase from their original 1941 proclamation. This was never about breaking away from America. It was about creating a new American state, one they felt would actually represent them. It was a cry for help, really, rooted in decades and decades of feeling neglected. The symbolism they chose is just so powerful. The official seal of Jefferson has two X's on it, which makes the double cross. This represents that profound sense of betrayal people felt, getting it from two different state capitals, Sacramento to the south and Salem to the north. They felt like they were paying taxes to both and getting absolutely nothing in return.
And what was it that finally lit the fuse back in 1941? What was the big issue? Roads. Just simple, impassable roads. It was this perfect, tangible symbol of their neglect. They couldn't get their copper and other resources out to market, and it was literally strangling their economy. They felt like they were being left in the dust.
Now, that original movement was cut short by the attack on Pearl Harbor, but the problems, they never went away. So what's fueling the movement today? Well, the issues have evolved a little, but that core feeling of being left behind is, if anything, stronger than ever.
If you look at what the modern movement is talking about, their number one issue today, at over 36%, is representation. It's this powerful belief that their votes and their values are just completely drowned out by the big cities. Right behind that is frustration with state regulations, over 21% that they feel just don't make any sense for their rural way of life. And on the economic side, it's the exact same story. Taxation is the biggest single issue, at almost 34%. It taps right into that classic American feeling of no taxation without representation. But look at the other big ones: economic freedom and water rights. In a rural agricultural region, these issues are everything. It's a fight for local control.
And look, this isn't just about feelings. The data tells a really stark story. Let's just take Josephine County, right in the heart of the Jefferson region in Oregon. The median household income is way, way lower than the state average. The child poverty rate is nearly double. These numbers give a lot of weight to that sense that they really are being left behind.
So, this all brings us to the crucial point, right? Are these grievances enough to justify creating a whole new 51st state? Or do the harsh realities of the region's geography and its economy make the entire idea an impossible dream? This right here lays out the central conflict perfectly. On one hand, you have this really powerful, justified argument for self-determination and fair representation. But on the other hand, you have these brutal, practical problems. Can a state with a struggling economy, based on declining industries, with huge infrastructure challenges, actually survive on its own?
It doesn't have a big economic engine, no major city, no deep water port. The very isolation that created the identity of Jefferson might be the very thing that makes it impossible as a state.
But that isolation, that's also the appeal. As one person who loves the area put it, miles and miles of beach, and nobody on it. People choose to live here precisely because it's empty, because it offers a sense of freedom and quiet that's basically disappearing from the rest of the country.
But, that freedom comes at a cost. Another resident kind of sums up the economic reality with a little dry humor. The economy was based on logging and, well, also Sasquatch. It's a funny line, but it points to a very real and harsh truth. The old industries are gone.
So today, the economy has shifted heavily toward tourism. But while the amazing landscape brings people in, the jobs it creates are often seasonal and pretty low wage. That's a really precarious foundation to try and build a new state on, and it leaves a lot of people struggling to get by in the very place they love so much. So we're left with this deep paradox, a region defined by its isolation, which fuels both a fierce desire for independence and the very economic problems that might make that independence impossible. This leaves us with a final, lingering question. Is the state of Jefferson just a historical phantom? Or is it an early warning sign, a blueprint for the growing divide between urban and rural America, where feeling forgotten could spark the next patriotic rebellion? The answer may define not just this phantom state, but the future of the country itself.